can I tell you what to do? And he said, sure. And I said, start over. I said, implode the whole thing, shut it down, and let's just start over. All right, so yes, the title of this video is true. It is not clickbait. I did tell a client of mine to shut down a $1 million business, but that's so that we can make him and help him keep way more money. I'm going to dive into it in just a second, but really quickly, if you don't know me, my name is Jason Phillips. I have no coaching services to sell you because I am no longer a coach in the internet space. I have built and sold multiple 8-figure brands, and now I am making this content so that you out there can make more money, but ultimately keep more money, and I would love to give you the resources to do so. So really quickly, one of my clients, when I was doing very high-level coaching, came to me in this exact location. We were literally like 2 rooms over. He sat across from me and he started telling me all the things that were going on with his business. And really all I heard was a person that was massively unhappy. Mind you, this is a person that was making over $80,000 a month. He was just coming off actually almost $100,000 a month. And he looked just frustrated, distraught, and nothing he was saying was positive. And we got halfway through the conversation. I closed my laptop down. I looked at him straight in the face and I'm like, bro, can I tell you what to do? And he said, sure. And I said, start over. I said, implode the whole thing, shut it down, and let's just start over. Now, I thought that he was literally going to look at me and tell me to shut the fuck up, that he might even punch me in the face. But actually what happened was he took a big sigh, kind of went, and he's like, really? And I looked at him and I could tell what I had just given him was permission to do something he had been thinking about. Now, I don't take all the credit in the world for this. Obviously, he had been thinking about doing something different, but in that moment, it was time for me to shine and for me to build the strategy for him to take what he was really good at and to ultimately profit from what he was really good at without all of the stress that he had been experiencing. So this particular client came to me, got a huge online following, and he was stuck. And so I told him that I could probably get him unstuck. I told him we could get him to probably $100,000 a month. And I asked if that's what he wanted to do. He said yes, and so we began working together. Over the course of, I don't know, a little over a year, we sent him to the $1 million level. He hit his first 6-figure month. And the problem, and I openly take some of the fault for this, was we scaled him using what I believe to be the old model. We got him lots of coaches, we focused on top line revenue, and we weren't as concerned with the profit margin. Now his margins weren't that bad, they were right around 30-35%, but what we didn't observe were his real desires across all 4 dimensions. We never really talked about anything other than business and top line revenue growth. Now, to be fair, this client also came to me and he said, I want the biggest online coaching business in the world. I want to hire all the coaches in the world and I want this thing to be massive. Although he realized over time that really wasn't what he wanted. He wanted the freedom associated with a coaching business. And so, this is something I see all the time. We are told as coaches that the only way to build and to scale and to grow a coaching business is to go out and to replicate your service, which means you got to hire an assistant coach, you got to pay that assistant coach well, you got to do the lead gen for that assistant coach. And ultimately, as you grow and you have more and more assistant coaches, you now need to manage a staff. Then we need setters, then we need closers, then we need marketing people. And before you know it, you're really the manager of people, which if you want to be a CEO is great. If you're somebody that got into the online space to be a C-suite, CEO, COO, perhaps CRO, fantastic. Like those things are great. You'll be managing people, you'll be managing high-level people, and they can go out and manage your team. It's going to be lower profit margin, but most of us as coaches didn't set out to do that. We set out to have time freedom, we set out to have financial freedom, and we set out to make an impact. What I see with most coaches today is they have no time freedom. They operate on the time of their clients. They have very little financial freedom because as they've scaled their businesses, they've kept less money than when they were on their own. And they have very little impact because they're so burned out, they don't even care if they're getting new clients, and they really don't even communicate or connect with their clients at the level that they once did. And so it sounds like the old model of scale is broken, which in fact for this person, it was. So here's exactly what I told him to do. When we said shut it down, we literally meant shut it down. Go home. The hardest part of all of this was you got to get rid of your staff. This staff was like family to him. He loved them, and that was literally the biggest hiccup in all of this. And what we did was we talked about a transition plan for all of them so that they could go out, be successful, continue to feed their families, and ultimately thrive beyond his company, which we did achieve successfully. The next thing we told him to do was we told him to really lean in to his IP. He had built amazing intellectual property and methodology inside of his coaching platform. And because of that, it was now time to start selling that inside of Proximity instead of just selling nutrition coaching. So we shifted all of his messaging to align with his IP. For him, he called it dieting from the inside out. When we started talking more about that, we then made an announcement that he himself, not his coaching team, but he himself was coming back to the space. Why? If you're a coach, you know that coaching clients is the only way to get 100% profit margin. And so what we did is we had money math. We said, how much take-home pay do you need to make and how much time freedom do you want? Well, he decided he was only going to take on 30 clients. He gave me a number of take-home pay that he wanted to get. We divided that number by 30, and that became his monthly rate. And so by him saying he was coming back almost celebrity status, because nobody had been able to get to him for quite some time, we literally almost filled all 30 of the spots that he was taking on almost instantly, which meant we were almost at a cap. We could start a wait list. That wait list allowed us to drive prices up even higher, which in a revolving pricing model, because of the wait list, means every time you're cycling through a churn period, we can increase the prices because demand exceeds supply, right? So what we did is we packaged his one-on-one, we made it the core offering, we put extreme scarcity on it. It allowed us to drive the prices as high as we wanted them to be, and it gave him the financial freedom he wanted on minimal amounts of work. Completely different than when he was at the $1 million level. The $1 million level, his take-home pay was literally, it was $30K a month. On this one, it was $25. It was only $5,000 higher more than when he's only dealing with 30 clients. So he had enough clients to float $1 million business. Now he's only got 30 clients in his business, and he's making $60,000 less per year. Crazy to even think about. But what this did, because there was a wait list, is it allowed us to open up the next tier of Proximity, right? We're still selling his IP. We're not selling him. We're not selling his services. We're selling IP. And so even though you can't get direct one-on-one access to this IP, if you want the solutions that this IP will provide, we can now sell it to you in a one-to-many format. And so what he built was a community-driven program. We put a very fixed number of this community-driven program spaces into the marketplace. We decided how much money do we want to make from this, and we just did the money map. So I think he wanted to make $20,000 from this tier of Proximity. He was willing to service 100 people. We did the math. So he came out to somewhere in the range of $200 or $300 a month. We sold that level of Proximity. We're now near the cap of that. And here's the crazy part. When he had a $1 million top line business at 30% profit margin, that's $300,000 take home at the end of the year. Now he has one-to-one that is full. He has one-to-many with one assistant supporting him. He's at $45,000 a month on 97% profit margin. He's making more money by servicing less people, working less hours, and he has significantly less stress. So if we go back to the original intent, he has time freedom, he has financial freedom, and he still has impact on the people he's directly coaching. It sounds like we went from checking none of the boxes to checking all of the boxes in this pivot. Now this coach is going on, he's creating some digital products, he's got an amazing community, he's speaking on stages, and when I saw this coach just a couple weeks ago, I literally looked at him and I said, dude, you just look different. And he said, I feel different. He said, I feel like I'm finally happy with my business. The biggest thing I need you to understand if you're a coach and you're watching this is you don't have to do anything. You don't have to listen to me. You don't have to listen to any of the gurus out there. You can do it on your terms. But at the end of the day, there's only two things I genuinely need you to understand, which is one, you should be happy doing it. If you're not happy in a digital business, then you're just doing it wrong. This is the best space in the world. It is the most freedom-based business in the world, and you should genuinely be happy. And number two, prioritize profit. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care what all of the big competitions are online about how much your top line revenue is. If you can't feed your family with all of that, or if you can't have the money that you want in the bank and you're not deploying that cash to make you future cash, then you're doing it wrong. Chances are you're never going to sell your online coaching business. It doesn't have a lot of enterprise value because you're the face of it, you're the key man. And so if we're going to not sell it, then we need to be taking all of the money from that coaching business, deploying it into assets and allowing those assets to give us future cash flow so that we can work towards whatever retirement numbers we have. And for whatever reason, our space forgets to talk about that. So if you're a coach online and you're watching this and you would like me to take a look at where you are at and help you build a strategy to either scale without losing profit and happiness, or to get yourself out of a mess that you've made and get you back to a place of profits and happiness, I'd be more than happy to do so. Like I said, I'm no longer a coach. I don't have coaching services to sell you. I'd just love to talk strategy with you about how to move forward. You can look below. You'll see the link to my Instagram at @RealJasonPhillips. Just send me a DM with the word strategy and we can chat. Otherwise, I hope this was helpful. Congratulations to my client. And I hope that you are out there and I hope you crush it. We'll see you guys soon.